Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. So we're going to do our Cowboys-Rams preview, NFC divisional game, Saturday night, huge game in LA. And guys, I can't wait. Seriously, this is going to be a heavyweight bout. Two teams coming in. Rams obviously finishing 13-3. Their three losses to the Bears, Eagles, and Saints, all great teams that they lost to. Rest of their season buttoned up, sweeping their division. So very impressive Rams team. We are going to LA to face. Obviously, our Dallas Cowboys are red hot. Won 8 of their last 9 games. Won our playoff game last weekend. Really gaining some momentum against a veteran Seattle team and Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll. Team that many people thought, through experience and quarterback play, would be able to get the better of the Dallas Cowboys. And we went out there and really dominated that football game. Outside of a few plays and some stuff that we gave up real late in 2-minute drill, we really, had a solid imprint on that game offensively and defensively. So how do we shape up going to the Rams game? A big discussion, even coming off the Seattle game when we were waiting for Eagles-Bears Sunday afternoon, was who would you prefer to face? Would you prefer we do our rematch against the Saints, who we defeated, arguably the best win that any team's had this year in New Orleans? Would we prefer to rematch, or in Dallas at the time, but the rematch would be in New Orleans? Or do we prefer to go to LA to face the number 2 seed in the Los Angeles Rams? At the time, I stand by this. I said I prefer the Rams, even though we had played the Saints and we know kind of how that game could look like, not barring adjustments. I do like our matchup with the Rams. I like how we match up physically against this football team. And I also like some of the matchup our personnel will have, and we'll get into that. So we look at starting with the quarterbacks. Look, at the end of the day, Drew Brees was undefeated in the Dome through his playoff career with Sean Payton. I'm picking Jared Goff in terms of who I want to face. Now, let's put some respect on Jared Goff's name. Finished with 32 touchdowns, Pro Bowl year, outstanding quarterback play, went, toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes in that wild Big 12 shootout that we actually did a video on this channel. Has just been absolutely impressive. He's had some monster games, but he's also had some games where he has shown a propensity to miss some throws, turn the football over when you hit him in the mouth. We look no further than the Chicago Bears tape. Now, one may say the boy was freezing cold. He's a California kid. Weather was a factor. Totally get that. But I have noticed, whether it's even the Eagles at the line of scrimmage and a lot of these games where they have had struggles, Jared Goff, he's a guy that can be had. It's very different from what we saw with Russell Wilson, where he's a lot more movement. We know how tough Russ is. It's really about more containment. With Jared Goff, it's really going to try, hey, we got to get our pressures and get home, because he's not going to really beat us on the scramble outside the pocket. He is a good athlete, but it's not the same beast we're facing with Russell Wilson. I do think we'll have an advantage just with the improvement of our defensive line team speed. One of the things I want to get into right now, too, is how personal this matchup is and how many parallels there are between these two teams. I felt that, we felt like that with Seattle, right, because of the recent history we've had with them. But the Rams, there's a lot of history between us and them. We played them just last season, week 4. They beat us 35-30. It was one of the first videos I did on this channel. They, we had a 2-possession lead going into halftime, played very, very well in that second quarter. And then we came out, had a really flat third quarter. They continued to put points on the board. They were kicking a lot of field goals, but they continued to put points on the board. And ultimately, they got a big play from Todd Gurley, and they beat us. That was the first game at that time. Let's break that down a little bit. That was also the first game where Sean Lee didn't play when he first went through the hamstring stuff. Jalen Smith was in there. Damian Wilson was in there. And they weren't what they are now, right? And that's obviously minus Leighton Vander Esch. So the Rams and Sean McVay took hell of advantage against our linebacker play at the time, and we got exposed in that game. And that was a game where Tavon Austin had a big game, who's now with us. They leveraged a lot of screens. Malcolm Brown had some screen touches. Todd Gurley out of the backfield also ran for 100 yards. We couldn't keep our gap assignments. It was a mess defensively for us. The biggest thing that has changed from then to now has been our defense. We have gone from being we can't function without Sean Lee to honestly we are better off with him on the sideline just because of how well Leighton Vander Esch and Jalen Smith have been playing. On top of that, is Todd Gurley going to be at the same level he was last season? That knee at the end of the season this year has been an issue for him. We'll see what the rest has given him, if he's going to have a little bit more juice. But he did not look like the same player at the end of the season, to the point where he had to sit the last couple weeks and, really, really get rested up. So he's almost had a month to really get his legs under him. But with knees, and I was talking to my buddy Bruce, where he even mentioned to me, he said, hey, knees, sometimes it's one of those things where if you don't have any type of procedure, I don't know how much impact you can have, especially if you haven't been involved in contact and whatnot. Rest can only do the body so much. So that's going to be a big question mark. Also, what type of Rams team are we facing? As well as they play it, again, 13-3, their defense isn't playing at the same level it was even last year when they played the Falcons in the divisional round. They've had some defensive issues. There will be some holes for us to exploit in our run game. And then we talked about Jared Goff just now, but their offense. Losing Cooper Kupp was a big, big loss for them. And I've seen a difference and a drop-off just in terms of how comfortable Jared Goff is. Yes, Brandon Cooks is still there, big-time player. Yes, Robert Woods has been their chain mover, and they're kind of the go-to guy in the intermediate passing game. Joe Everett's come on at times. But Josh Reynolds coming in to replace Cooper Kupp, there's been a substantial drop-off there in just how the proficiency of the offense has run, coupled with Todd Gurley's injury concerns. I think there's a lot of meat on the bone for the Cowboys to attack with physicality. And if we're able to go in there and punch these guys in the mouth and get to their quarterback, I think their offense will sputter. Now, again, the parallels and the familiarity between these two teams. Sean McVay, NFC East guy, going back to the Redskins, he had some success against us with Kirk Cousins at times moving the football when they had Deshaun and Pierre Garçon and some of those guys. So a lot of the schemes and stuff are going to be very, very similar. We're going to see a lot of screen stuff. We're going to see a lot of stuff motion out of the backfield. Look at some of the things he did last year against us with our very own Tavon Austin now on the jet sweeps and just keeping us off balance. That's a Sean McVay special, and then he'll play action and take his shots down the field. So guys like Anthony Brown, guys like Chidobe Awuzie, I look for them to be the ones to be targeted, because eventually he wants to build on that double move for Brandon Cooks to exploit the big play. Same thing he used to do with Deshaun back in the day. I'm telling you, I'll go back and watch some of those games. So just the familiarity and the awareness. They have our former head coach and Wade Phillips on defense. He's coming back against Jason Garrett. He's going to have a bone to pick. He always probably forever will. However you want to look at it, how their tenure went down. So that's going to be, a point of concern, a point of emphasis for our football team. We also go in at the end of this game, at the end of last year's game, how they were able to stop us in coverage against Dak Prescott, Mark Barron coming up with a tipped interception. Those are guys we're going to have to muscle. Littleton, Barron, they're fast and they're speedy, but they're small. And I think that's a weakness that we can exploit as this Cowboys team matches up with the Rams. Because the corners are good, but I do expect Amari Cooper to get some big plays and some double moves on Marcus Peters. I expect them probably to shadow Peters, and I expect them to try to light up Dak, to be honest with you. Now, not just straight up double-A gap blitzes that some of the teams that we faced recently try to do, because Dak is really good at identifying that stuff pre-snap and dotting it up. I expect Wade to come from angles, maybe corner blitzes, delayed blitzes, things like that to kind of mix Dak up a little bit in terms of coverage. I do anticipate them loading the box early to stop Zeke. Who doesn't do that to us, right? Now, if they don't do that to us and they want to let us get into a rhythm, running the football and try to play us straight up, good luck with that, because time of possession will be on our side and we'll have, significant advantage. Another parallel in this game, Dak Prescott, we just mentioned, going back to where he started in the preseason in LA, first game, before the Romo injury, and asserting himself as, the potential future of the Dallas Cowboys. We're now here full circle with an opportunity to do something that we haven't done since the mid-90s and advancing to a conference championship game. And I just feel like even with the pressure of that, I feel good about where this team is mentally and attacking that goal. I feel good about where this team is in terms of momentum. 8 out of the last 9 is very, very impressive. I don't know too many teams in the NFL that have done that recently. And this has been a team we've seen before. Dak Prescott is the same quarterback, Ezekiel Elliott, the same running back, where they led this team to 11 straight wins in 2016. We're starting to get on one of those type of roles, coupled with Amari Cooper. The other thing, too, look at this spread, 7-point spread. Vegas and the sharps out there are really high on the Rams coming out of this rest and probably pulling away from us late and closing this football game. I don't see it that way. I see us really controlling the clock. I see us, really being able to run on their teams, on their linebackers. I know, Aaron Donald is going to be a problem. Some of you may be concerned if they're matching up against us, targeting Connor Williams. Valid concern. But there are some things we can do to help him and alleviate those issues and be okay. Look, as well as Aaron Donald's played, I have him top 4 of MVP. Even with all that, their run stats are what they are, and we've seen what teams have been able to do with him on the field, with Sue on the field, with Fowler on the field. All those guys they have up front. Talib at corner, Peters at corner, Johnson at safety. All these guys, Joyner as well, but it's still, they haven't gelled and they haven't, come together. And offensively for us, presents opportunities. I don't think this defense we're going up against is as sound as the Seattle defense we face in the wild card round. That's just my opinion. Now, special teams is going to be very interesting to keep your eye on because they have a great kicker and a great punter. They'll be able to flip the field, with those guys, as well as take deep shots on field goals. That was something that really beat us last year, all the field goals they were able to execute. So we have to be just on our P's and Q's across the board. I like Dallas in this game, though. I wanted to play LA. The other thing, too, the last thing I'll bring up is this is a neutral site game for us. No disrespect to LA, but there's going to be a hell of a lot of Cowboys fans there. Look at whenever we play in San Francisco or anywhere on the East or on the West Coast. We have our camp there. That last game we played in LA, loads and loads and loads of Cowboys fans. It felt like a home game. So I expect that almost to be if 60-40, if not 50-50 with the Cowboys presence. And let's do a roll call here in the comments if you guys, any of you on the West Coast are going to be headed to the game or that live there or are flying in to LA to check out the team. Because I feel like when we watch that game on Saturday night, the fans' presence from the Cowboys end is going to be felt in that stadium. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to play them as well. Just having that presence there and comfort. I feel like we're going to get to LA and it's going to be comfortable. It's going to be a star-studded event. You're going to see your Jay-Z's and all these people at the game. But overall, that's going to be Cowboy territory to some degree. So y'all let me know what you think, your prediction. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Cowboys in an upset. I don't care about this 7-point spread. I think we're going to be able to put some points on the board again. And I think we're going to be able to slow down this Rams attack. I'm going to go with this 27-23. I think it's going to be a very, very close game. But I think we're going to be able to pull this out. And with leveraging our time of possession, our run game, and Dak making some more timely big plays. Again, appreciate you guys. As always, follow us on all the social media links below. We'll have some more content coming out as the coaching carousel is wrapping up. I'm going to make a full video just reacting to all the new coaches we have. We were supposed to come out with our UT video yesterday. Sorry for the delay on that. That will be tomorrow. So looking forward to enjoying the game just like you guys. Hit me up in the comments. Appreciate y'all as always. Thank you.